Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next Tuesday live session. So, for everybody new to this group, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here to learn with us, and not just to learn, but also to implement, right? Because this is what really distinguishes this group from other Facebook groups out there in the Hashimoto's world or in the Hashimoto's field, is that a lot of groups are focusing on what is not working. And that is important because you need to feel the sense of, that you're not alone in this. There's a lot of women who are experiencing issues, and it gives you a sense of camaraderie and things like that. So, absolutely. However, we need to move past this too, right? So, we need to really make sure that we understand that there is certain steps we can take in order to get over the symptoms and to get a grip on the Hashimoto symptoms and to learn how to reverse the symptoms and to basically align your body back with health. So, and that is what we're doing in this group. So, welcome everybody. I'm happy that you made it over here. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, welcome back. Please say hi in the chat, whether whether you're watching this in live with me here or in the replays. Please let me know that you're here. I'm happy about everybody who's joining us today. So today, actually, it's going to be a really, really good topic, and I'll be sharing a lot of information with you. So if you want to take notes, that is amazing. Lots of really valuable information around weight loss issues. So I know weight loss is one of those topics that are a huge pain point for a lot of women, myself included. So when I gave birth to my daughter in November, and then in August the following year, we went back to Germany to visit my parents, and so which was almost a year later, and my father actually congratulated me on expecting baby number 2 because I looked as if I was 9 months pregnant, basically. So I wasn't able to lose my baby weight for a very long time. But also prior to that, I was always on the heavy side of things. And I tried all of the things. Like, I really tried hard to cut my calories and to go on diets and to work out like a maniac. And it just never really worked. And that was before I even knew I had Hashimoto. So I was very frustrated. I didn't feel good about myself. It was definitely leaving me feeling guilty, as if I am doing the wrong things at the wrong time, and that can be such a hindrance in us enjoying our lives and really feeling good about ourselves, and really feeling that there's certain ways that we can actually increase our metabolism, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit about today, in order to get that health, the weight in a healthy range, and that it's not about cutting calories, it's not about crash dieting, it's nothing like that. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about the three of the reasons why weight loss seems so unattainable for you. I'm going to be talking about some triggers that really prevent the weight loss with us in Hashimoto's, because it might seem unattainable, but it is really not. So if you understand the mechanisms behind the weight loss issues, there is a lot of things that you can do in order to help weight loss come along, and in a very sustainable, long-term way, right? We're also going to be talking a little bit about why Ozempic is not a long-term solution. Honestly, there is so much I have to say about Ozempic. I'm not going to be going into too much of details as to how the drug actually works. But we will be talking a little bit about it so that you understand, that you have the knowledge as to how the drug is doing its thing, and some of the side effects, because usually that is not something that doctors will talk about when they are offering you that solution. And I truly believe that there is a place for Ozempic. However, it's not for everybody, and I'm going to be sharing as to why that is, so that you get the whole picture of what the drug does for you, and what it doesn't do. Okay, so you can really have an understanding and make a decision around that if you were thinking about using it or thinking about anything along these lines. And then we're going to be talking about understanding what will have to shift in your health and in your metabolism in order to see the numbers decline on the scale, and what to do about it. Okay, so this session is a whole session. Like it's a lot of information, and we're going to try to pack it into 30 minutes for you. But if you ever have any more questions, you can always reach out to me afterwards. Not a problem at all. All right. Let me just quickly go into my group just to see if somebody is joining us live here today. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started. And welcome everybody who's new to the group. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I hope that you enjoy the information, and I hope that you are getting lots of tips and tricks that you can utilize. Okay, everybody, so let's get started. 3 reasons why weight loss seems unattainable with Hashimoto's. The first one is metabolic rate. So, metabolic rate is usually slower for us with Hashimoto's. And that is not just because of hyperthyroidism or your thyroid health, even though that is one of the reasons as to why your metabolic rate is slower, because your thyroid is not working 100% and is affected by your Hashimoto's, which can cause hyperthyroidism, which affects every single cell in your body who that has a thyroid thyroid receptors. So definitely one of the reasons why. But I want you to think a little bit past that. So it's not just the thyroid that is controlling your metabolic rate. Metabolic rate is also controlled by your gut health and also by your liver health. And so this is something I wanted to go a little bit deeper within today, because that is not something that a lot of women are aware of. Knowing about the liver as a metabolizing organ, which is super important in your digestion, in converting nutrients from food into energy, and things like that, that can really help to create metabolic health, which then can translate into a healthy weight loss or weight stabilizing process. So let's talk a little bit about the liver as a metabolizer. I'm not going to go into gut health today. That's another topic for another day. So let's focus a little bit on the liver today. Okay. So the liver really helps to regulate metabolism by converting nutrients from food into energy, and also storing excess energy as glycogen. Okay, so it plays a huge role in breaking down fats and proteins, which is essential for weight management. And if you are not breaking down your fats and proteins properly, your digestion, your absorption will suffer, and your weight management will also suffer. So, because protein and fats are definitely something that is helping to buffer your blood sugar response, which can create a lot of weight issues. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. All right. So liver is a very important metabolizing organ in our bodies. Okay. The other thing that the liver does for you, it also helps to regulate your blood sugar, right? So the liver regulates blood sugar levels by storing and releasing glucose when needed. So, which means that by maintaining your stable blood sugar levels, it really helps to prevent insulin spikes. And which can then lead to fat storage, mostly in the abdominal fat tissue. Okay, so you really want to make sure that when you are dealing with Hashimoto's, that your blood sugar continues to stay stable, because any of those blood sugar spikes that you might be experiencing in terms of when you're eating, that you feel fatigued very quickly after, or you feel very full, or your energy dips, or your energy crashes, or anything like that, can really be a sign of blood sugar dysregulation. And the liver helps you to regulate that releasing of the glucose when needed into the body. So, really crucial for that, which plays a huge role in blood sugar stabilization, but also in weight management because of that, right? The third thing that the liver does, actually, as a metabolizing organ that helps you as a huge metabolizer, is bile production, right? So, not a lot of women are aware of the bile that is so important for us. Why? Because the liver produces bile for you, and bile is absolutely essential for your fat digestion and fat absorption in the small intestine. And why is that? Why is that so important? Because by efficiently breaking down the fats for you, the liver really ensures that the fat is used as a source of energy instead of being stored in the body, right? So, because the body essentially either uses the energy or it stores the energy. And bile is so important for the fat digestion, fat absorption, that can really help down to break down those fats in order for it to become available as energy, right? And the last thing the liver does for you is it helps with your insulin sensitivity, right? So that is a huge, huge topic here in the Hashimoto's world, is the insulin sensitivity. So there's a lot of women that are experiencing a decrease of insulin sensitivity because of so many different reasons. And one of them is that the liver actually can help regulate insulin levels. So it helps to maintain your insulin sensitivity, which is very, very important for the efficiency of fat metabolism. Okay. So when the liver functions properly, the body can better use the glucose for energy and avoid storing it as fat in your body, mostly in abdominal tissue. So when you're experiencing insulin, a decrease in insulin sensitivity, that means that the energy in form of carbohydrates and broken down sugar, it's not accessing the cells. It's not going to be accessing the mitochondrial function of your cells. So where does the energy go? It usually stores as fat in abdominal tissue, and as the second part, storage area, the liver itself. So it sometimes even then goes into the liver as storage, which can then increase fatty liver issues and things like that. So my point here is for you that to understand that the number one reason why weight loss seems unattainable for you with Hashimoto's is that your metabolic rate is usually slower with Hashimoto's, not just because of your thyroid, but also because of your gut health and your liver health. Understanding that the liver plays a major role in metabolizing your food on various levels for you to help you create energy and to also help regulate blood sugar, regulate insulin sensitivity, which, if left unbalanced, is a source for inflammation that can increase your Hashimoto's symptoms through increase in inflammation. I hope that makes sense. I really wanted to drive that home a little bit for you guys to understand how important these areas are when we are talking about weight loss, because it's not as simple as calories in, calories out, either, or just completely decreasing the amount of calories that you're intaking, or to go the opposite way in saying, okay, I need help with that, and then opt for the weight loss drugs, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. Okay, so there is no quick fix, but there are steps that you can take. So, in essence, literally, what I'm trying to teach you guys here is that a well functioning liver is 100% crucial for maintaining your metabolic balance as the one of the biggest root causes as to why it's so difficult for you to lose the weight, because it helps with fat breakdown and efficient energy use. It helps with insulin resistance, insulin sensitivity, making your insulin more effective in your body. And it can really help to successfully drive weight balancing. So, because it brings down inflammation and it helps to balance your weight to a healthy level. And by the way, if you guys haven't heard yet, some of you may have not, we're actually doing a a spring cleanse this year together here in this group. So I am going on every year I'm doing a liver cleanse for myself because I know the importance of the liver as a metabolizer in my body. And that was one of the biggest issues that I had with my liver, detoxification pathways that were completely blocked. I needed to help support my liver in order to kickstart my weight loss, but also to bring down inflammation. And so this year, I'm actually offering you guys to come join us in the spring cleanse that I've been doing for many, many years in the spring. So we are starting on April 28th, and it's going to be a 1 month supportive program that I put together for you, where you will be going on a 10-day, fully balanced meal plan that not only supports your liver detoxification pathways, but it also supports your gut health, and it also supports your blood sugar stabilization. So everything that I just mentioned earlier is what those meals are supporting you with. And it can be such a great kickstart to help bring down the inflammation and to really help bring up, like your weight loss efforts too, if you wanted to, because it gives you more energy. It delivers more energy into the cells. It helps with insulin sensitivity. It helps with breakdown of fats and digestive pathways in your body. So if you want to join us, you can join us anytime. Just comment cleanse or reach out to me personally. It's not a quick fix, the cleanse. What it is it's one of the huge puzzle piece to the overall puzzle of autoimmune disease that absolutely need to be addressed. So if you haven't hopped on board yet, please do so. It's going to be amazing. You will feel supported all the way through. We are doing a pre-cleanse week where we're teaching you how to prepare for the cleanse. We are being together for meal planning. You can ask me all the questions on how to go about it. You'll learn about the roadblocks and what might be hindering you, or that you'll see as maybe detoxification. Um, Symptoms that you're experiencing during the cleanse and how to remedy them. We're talking about everything. You get the 10 meals, the 10-day meal plan, and you get all the recipes. And you will be supported in an amazing group of women who are doing the same thing like you. So I'm offering it alongside with you for only $125 for the whole month. So we'll love to have you in there. We'll teach you a lot of things, prepping, cleansing, and then also transitioning into regular eating. Okay, so the liver plays a huge role. Just wanted to really drive that home. And then when we talk about a liver cleanse, when we talk about weight loss, in come the quick fix solutions that nowadays are rampant out there. You are being, almost in every doctor's office, I'll say, is that when you are seeing doctors these days, Ozempic or similar weight loss drugs are almost like handed out as candy, almost like antibiotics were in the days, 80s, 90s. And it surprises me because knowing that Ozempic might be something that works and it will work because you will see results, but also understanding the side effects that come with a drug is really important to make the right decision, whether that is something that you actually want to entertain for your body or not. And I find that this education around the side effects and how the drug actually works in the body is 100% under delivered in doctors' offices, on TikTok or other social media platforms where you're being drawn to the before and after pictures of so many women, which is so enticing, but you don't really get the whole picture of it because you don't understand, or these people don't talk about the side effects or how the drug works. So I really wanted to give you some background information today so that you know how it works and if that is something that you want to do or not. So, like I said, I can do like a whole session on Zempic, and maybe I will do that one of these days, but not today. Just to give you some info so that you're prepared. So, Ozempic is a GLP-1 agonist, so glucose-like peptides. So what it is a naturally occurring hormone in your body. So your body actually produces the GLP-1, and it is released when you're eating. So it is a natural occurring hormone that is released when you're eating. Your body makes it, and it has certain functions in the body, and some of those functions are number one, it slows gastric emptying. Okay, so it slows the emptying of your stomach into the intestinal tract, which means that it keeps you fuller longer, right? So it makes sense when you're eating and you're digesting that once your stomach is filling up, that the GLP naturally signals, okay, there's food coming in. I'm okay now. I can slow things down. I need to stop eating, so I'm going to be slowing things down. The emptying will be slowed down. However, if you are using GLP-1 as a drug, weekly or daily, then this gastric emptying occurs all the time, so which can cause a lot of issues with digestive issues. So a lot of issues that are being created are, for example, bloating, gas, acid reflux. It also slows stomach acid production. And for those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that I am a big fan of having proper stomach acid levels for protein absorption in your body. For those of you that are actually with me in the Hashimoto's fatigue solution, you know how important it is. So just know that when you're taking Ozempic, your stomach acid production will be slowed down consistently. So you will have trouble breaking down the proteins in your food every day, which can cause a lot of gastrointestinal issues long term. It also, the function also, one of the functions also is that it increases insulin release. Okay, so GLP-1 as a naturally occurring hormone increases insulin release in your body. All right, because when you're eating, then your pancreas is spitting out the insulin so that the energy that you are breaking down is being delivered into the cells. So you want a little bit of increase in that. However, when you're taking the drug, you will have a repeated increased insulin release on a daily basis, nonstop. What does that mean? It means it can create insulin resistance. So the opposite of insulin sensitivity, right? So now we're creating a metabolic imbalance in your body that can really have such a crazy effects on your blood sugar regulation, inflammation that is coming into your body because of it, and things like that. So it increases insulin release, which is not a good thing to do unregulated all the time, right? And the last thing I was going to mention to you guys is that GLP-1, so Ozempic, controls appetite, right? By making you feel longer, making you feel full longer. So the appetite control is, I think, the biggest driver that actually is, you know, leading into marketing of the drug, because you think that you might be overeating or not cutting enough calories in order to lose weight, and then you are being sold on, oh, this drug is controlling my appetite, so I'll eat less and I'll lose weight, without even knowing about all of the other things that I just talked about, right? And so the thing is that it does control your appetite by making you feel longer because of acids, you know, like hydrochloric acid release is slowing down. That's one of the factors, but it also docks onto some of your brain cells that signal hunger hormones that controls hunger, right? So it does have an effect on your brain, which then controls appetite. So it definitely does that. However, because of all of the other issues that Ozempic can really cause in terms of metabolic imbalances, it might not be the right fit for you. So I would definitely talk to your doctor about that if that is an issue, if that is something that you had on your mind. All right, so that was just to give you a little bit of an overview of the Ozempic in terms of metabolic function, metabolic rate. And I'll swing back to that during my third point that I'm going to be making. So hang in there. But moving on, the second reason why your weight loss might seem unattainable for you or is not working is because of cortisol activation. Okay, so number one was metabolic rate. Number two is cortisol activation. Cortisol activation, which is the stress response, it really increases the need for nutrients, right? So when our cortisol is out of balance, then you need more nutrients to keep the cortisol response going in your body, right? But it also increases cravings and it hinders satiety regulation. Cortisol levels are something that they are on a rhythm. They go up and down throughout the day. And for most of us with Hashimoto's, we have an imbalance in cortisol rhythm, cortisol activation. There's a lot of factors that come to it. I'm not going to be touching on all of them, but just know that there is a dysregulation for most of us. There's a number of reasons. One of the reasons I was going to go into is the ongoing inflammation in your body because of your autoimmune response. The ongoing inflammation can cause a physiological stress response in your body, which can absolutely dysregulate your cortisol on a daily basis. Another thing that can also dysregulate your cortisol activation is the exposure to toxins, right? So exposure to toxins, which increases inflammation in your body. So that can be anything from, like the rat race lifestyle, the keeping busy, running around, not resting enough if we are feeling tired, because if we're resting, we feel that people might view us as being lazy because they don't see us having a disease or an imbalance, or they don't see Hashimoto's written on our face. So they don't know, and they might think, why is she taking so many breaks, right? So we are going into the opposite direction, and we are hustling, and we are doing, and we are completely stressing ourselves out, our bodies out, when we actually need to rest, increasing the cortisol activation, and really driving inflammation. Inflammation then just feeds into the cortisol activation at all times, right? So really the burnout that we're experiencing, the fatigue. Another thing that can really increase our cortisol activation are blood sugar imbalances and sleep issues, right? That can really drive cortisol imbalances. So blood sugar imbalances, you might not think that you have, but let me tell you, when I realized that my blood sugar was dysregulated, I had no idea. I had no idea. There are certain things that just seemed normal to me, but they weren't actually normal. So I'm going to do another session on blood sugar dysregulation soon. But just know that blood sugar imbalances and sleep issues are one of the biggest drivers for cortisol activation in your body, which means if your sleep is affected, your cortisol response will be imbalanced by default, which can lead to weight gain. So only the fact that you're not sleeping well every night can actually hinder you to lose weight, because it also hinders your metabolic rate, right? So it always connects. See, our bodies are so amazing. They everything always connects with one another. Okay, so that is reason number 2, right? The cortisol activation in your body. Reason number 3 is cravings and satiety issues, dysregulation that makes it really difficult for you to control eating. And so this one was a largely huge one for me. This was a huge one for me. So even though I was eating fairly healthy, what I thought was healthy diet, when I was diagnosed, I still got a lot of cravings. I never really felt the level of satiety where I had a meal and I feel satisfied and nourished and, just not feel like eating anymore. Like I could eat all day, all day long, like all the way through, until just before bed. And I know that this is a huge issue for a lot of women, and that comes with the first 2 reasons that I mentioned. But it also has, it really comes also from an emotional aspect, but that's a different story for another day. But it comes from imbalanced digestion and absorption issues. So a lot of times when we're feeling cravings and satiety issues, it comes with insulin resistance, so that the energy is not being delivered into the cells, but it also comes with absorption and digestive issues, to such a point where you're thinking that you're eating healthy, but your body is not absorbing the nutrients. Your body is actually not digesting the nutrients that you're bringing in because of digestive dysfunction on so many levels. And so cravings and satiety issues then can lead to dysregulated eating patterns. And I'm not necessarily talking about binge eating here, even though I know that sometimes also is an issue, but not necessarily. For me, it was more like I couldn't eat in the morning, but then I would eat snacks for the day, and then in the evening I had so many cravings. I would just eat a whole lot at the end of the day. So for me, the whole eating cycle was reversed because of various things like slow metabolism and cortisol activation, things like that. Um, so it's not about the binge eating, but it's more about um, the flow of nutrients in your body. So when you have absorption and digestive issues, the nutrients that are coming into your body are not digested, absorbed properly, and sometimes you can really see that in when you watch yourself eat and the way you eat and what time you eat your food. So regulating the flow of incoming food when it comes to timing of food and nutrients can be a game changer when it comes to cravings and satiety, right? Also, balancing nutrients to stabilize your blood sugar can be a game changer when it comes to cravings and satiety. And again, see the connection to the blood sugar, because when the blood sugar goes up and down, the insulin activity goes up and down, cortisol goes up and down. We're going on that roller coaster, and that really spikes inflammation. And all of these factors can really play into you're not being able to lose the weight, all of those dysfunctions that you're experiencing. Um, Understanding your carbohydrate compatibility, knowing the amount of carbohydrates that your body tolerates in one sitting is very important when it comes to regulating eating patterns, and creating meals that don't spike blood sugar, super important. So balancing out your meals with macronutrients, super important. Building muscle, so to create another metabolic organ, your muscle is super important. That can really help to support your cortisol and hormone production in the body, which can slow down cravings. So there's a lot to say about cravings and satiety, and they often come with absorption and digestive problems, which can create nutrient deficiencies. And when you're creating nutrient deficiencies, then we're looking at increased inflammation, and then we're looking at metabolic rate that is usually slower and coming down for you, which then really creates that whole cycle of imbalances that can really hinder your weight loss efforts, or really just trying to get a grip on leveling and stabilizing your weight, so that you don't feel that you are eating healthy. You're not overeating, you're not eating enough, you're not overeating on calories, but you're still not seeing the weight loss. You're going to the gym, but you're still not seeing the weight loss. Maybe it's because of the cortisol activation. Maybe it's because of your metabolic rate. Maybe it's because of insulin resistance, right? So these factors are super important and need to be addressed. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I know that I gave you a lot of information, and that might be something you want to look into, a little bit more in depth, and really figure out for you and how to get a grip on these things. But just know that once you're starting to balance your blood sugar, once you're starting to support your liver, and once you're starting to, you know, dial in your sleep and focus on your cravings and satiety levels, you will be able to see consistent weight loss gains. So you will definitely see the weight loss happening in your life in a very sustainable way that leaves you very not just skinnier like with the weight loss drugs, but with like a whole complete metabolic mess on the side. It not only keeps you at a good weight, but it also gives you the energy and that your body needs, so you don't feel the fatigue so much anymore, right? So if you approach it from that root cause approach, you will see many gains that way. All right, everybody, I hope that was helpful for you. And if you do want to join our cleanse, please do so, because we're starting April 28th. It's $125 for the whole month of support, the meal plan, the recipes, meeting with us weekly in a Zoom room, and really helping you to prep, helping you to get through the cleanse, and helping you to get out of the cleanse, which can really kickstart your metabolic rate, and it can really help to kickstart even your weight loss goals for this year. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you again very soon. Have a great day.